So up next, we have the 4-H presentations, which is always a highlight of this conference every year. So I would like to welcome Isabel from the North 40 Mile 4-H Club to come up to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start off by saying a huge thank you to Farming Smarter for giving 4-H members the opportunity to speak. A little bit about myself. My name is Isabel Dykstra, and it is my honor to be your MC for this portion of the day. I am 15 years old, and this is my 7th year in 4-H as a member of the North 40 Mile 4-H Club. With that being said, I will introduce our first speaker. Eva Nisnik is 17 years old. This is her 12th year in 4-H, having done all 3 Cleaver years. She is a member of the South Slope 4-H Beef Club and spent 4 years as a member of the Bow River Riders Light Horse Club. Eva, would you please come to the front? Eva Nisnik, what's the grade? What's the grade? Eva Nisnik.
Before I begin, I would just like to thank the Farming Smarter organization and the Southern Alberta Regional 4-H for inviting me to speak today. Did you see the price on that thing? How do you justify that? Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, fellow 4-H members, and guests of Farming Smarter. On our ranch and many others in Alberta, under the Brant Lake Wagyu program, raise crossbred Angus and Wagyu cattle. Ranchers are supplied with bulls to calving out cows to sell the calves back to the program. Here's a photo of our land in Stettler, where our commercial Angus cattle are raising their Wagyu cross calves. When you walk into a restaurant and see Wagyu on the menu, you may wonder why the price is so high compared to the regular price of beef. If you want to know, let's talk grading. When it comes to grading beef, there are certain criteria that have to be met. All beef is graded into 2 categories, yield and quality. These grades are taken from the 12th cross rib because it is the break point for the forequarter and the hindquarter. This is an industry standard. This is my carcass animal from 2 years ago hanging in Deerview Meats. As you can see, the close photo and the far photo, they both show where the break point is. Yield is graded 1 to 4. It is the measurement of the exterior fat cover and the length and width of ribeye muscle cover, as well as the percentage of heart, kidney, pelvic fat, and hot carcass weight, 1 being more lean and 4 being more fat. Here you can see 1, there's not much exterior fat cover, and as you go up the scale to 4, there's quite a bit. 1 is the length, 2 is the width, and 3 is the exterior fat cover. The next category is quality. For all cattle, you can hit A, AA, AAA, or Prime, and Prime is the highest you can hit in quality. This is determined by marbling. You may ask, what is marbling? It is the amount of interior fat that is going through the steak. A, you can see it is mostly just meat, and as you go up the scale and hit Prime, you can see that there is more white streaks going through. Bloom is noted as well when it comes to this. This means the color of the meat. If the meat is too dark, it is considered a dark cutter and greatly discounted. They use a stick with a hole cut in the middle and put it up to the center of the meat and check the color. Now let's look at Wagyu and see how they differ. There are breeders for Wagyu in North America, Australia, and Japan. In Japan, it is called Kobe beef because of the region it is raised in. In the Wagyu program, they get graded the same. However, in the section of Prime, there are 12 subgrades, but only 10 achievable outside of Japan. The higher grade that the animal scores, the more potential there is to extract value from the animal. Here you can see 1, it is mostly just meat, and as you go up the scale to a 10, it is pretty much just fat inside there. Here, the top picture shows a Wagyu cross steak that was harvested at Lacombe. This is one of our own calves, and it hit the top BMS score. The bottom picture shows a grading card to show the similarity of the card and the actual steak. At a butcher shop in Calgary, the highest grades of Wagyu Angus cross beef will sell for 4 times the price of regular beef. My experience being in the carcass project, I've discovered that it is a challenge to get the Wagyu steer to its grading potential because of the short feeding period. When it comes to these crossbred calves, they achieve their highest grades when fed to gain slowly for a longer period of time. This allows them to put on intramuscular fat instead of back fat. A typical feedlot experience for a calf is 140 to 200 days. For the Wagyu cross, it is 400 days. That's twice as many days on feed before they are harvested, and around $800 to $1,000 per calf. Another challenge I found with this crossbreed is their temperament. And let me tell you, when you're down in the feedlot sexing the calves and you have hooves flying at you left, right, and center, and you're getting quite a few in the ribs, you can tell they have a temper. When put in a stressful situation and at the time they have to be graded, I found out my calf will most likely come out as a dark cutter or about to walk the line of being one. When these carcasses get left for a few hours, they will grade how they should on the scale. The meat color will go from a dark red to a light pink. Now, cows and calves, for the most part, will look the same, but the odd calf will come through the pen, and you can tell it's a Wagyu. Here is a photo. The top photo is my Wagyu cross steer, and the bottom photo is my Angus commercial market steer. As you can see, there are not many differences. If you look close enough, though, you can see that their hair is a bit different color. Wagyu bulls are different looking than the Angus bull, and the differences are very noticeable. The Wagyu is very fine-boned and not heavily muscled. When my dad first brought these bulls home, he was even debating if he should let them out in our herd. The reason Wagyu is compatible with the Angus is due to the Angus breed's efficiency of feeding. So this can improve the Wagyu's feeding efficiency, and it won't take away from their marbling. The end goal of grading beef is for producers and buyers to understand what products they are selling and consuming. Here I have 2 steaks. The one closest to me on this side is an Angus steak, and the other one is a Wagyu cross steak. They probably would have graded the same as a prime, but the Wagyu could have graded higher because of the 10 subgrades. Today, I've given you a deeper look into the beef grading system and Wagyu versus other breeds. We also discussed marbling, bloom, marketing, and genetic outcomes on combining breeds. Is the meat worth the extra penny? You'll have to try it and see.
I would like to take this time to remind everyone that the silent auction closes on tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. All the proceeds will go to the South 4-H region and will be used for scholarships, communication workshops, and judging workshops, and other regional events. I will now introduce our next speaker. Chloe Bonnet is 14 years old. She has been in 4-H for 4 years, and she is a member of the Bow River 4-H horsemanship. Cleo, do you want to come to the front, please? Chloe Bonnet, taught by a teen, Chloe Bonnet.
As a 4-H member, I have wondered how serious we take our 4-H pledge. Is it something we just memorize and recite at every meeting and gathering, or is it something we solemnly live by? Madam Chairperson, fellow 4-H members, and other invited guests. Today, I would like to talk about how our pledge resonates with me as a teen member of our 4-H community. First, I pledge my head to clear thinking. Tough call. As a teen with a brain full of chemicals and hormonal imbalances, clear thinking is oftentimes clouded by mood swings and overwhelming emotions. I find myself crying for no reason and getting frustrated easily. It becomes a struggle to maintain a clear mind, but every day I carry my flag, taking responsibility as a respectful individual and remembering what I'm representing and the impact it could have on my family and community. Next is my heart to greater loyalty. What it means to be loyal isn't just my undying belonging to a specific group or a person, but a commitment towards a cause. In my journey in horsemanship, although I've undoubtedly gained some knowledge, I've also acknowledged that there is still more room to learn. I recognize the hardship, effort, and determination it takes to accomplish one's goal. Therefore, whenever I have been given the chance to try and help new members, I share with them my encouragement through what I've already learned in my years of being in 4-H. This is where I convey my greater loyalty, in hopes that my contribution will help my club continue its legacy. Third will be my hands to larger service. One thing that I've enjoyed participating within this 4-H program is the community service. Given my age, I could easily be partaking in different sports or being caught up in teenage drama. But here, I choose to volunteer in highway cleanup, putting up and taking down Christmas trees at the hospital, as well as assisting seniors playing bingo. Giving time and extending our hands to help and serve our community is a perfect playground for a teen like me to learn humility, hard work, and perseverance. Last, but certainly not least, is my health to better living. Health? Yes, it is the center of every undertaking. Here, it sums up our capacity to think with our heads, strive for what our heart dictates, and limits the ability of our hands to perform. Health is wealth, they say. Now, try explaining that to the troubling senses of a teen with the infamous response of a shrugging shoulder or a snarky whatever. Nonetheless, I've soon come to realize that I have the opportunity to really enjoy life to the fullest. I'm young and energetic with lots of life ahead of me. I only have to ensure that I am not taking for granted the one thing that makes me rich in all aspects: my health. Our 4-H pledge was written for a reason, perhaps to remind us that this is not simply a program of hobbies, but an institution where younger generations can thrive and learn new skills while still having fun, where our declaration of promise is meaningful, purposeful, and impactful. As I'm one that is privileged enough to be a part of it. In the end, this is my pledge. This is my 4-H, where I learn to do by doing. What about you?
Before I introduce the next speaker, I would like to thank the MD of Tabor for sponsoring the lunches for the 4-H members today. We really appreciate the support. Osenna Stout is 14 years old, and this is her third year in 4-H as a member of the Lethbridge Northern 4-H Beef Club. Osenna, would you please come to the front? Osenna Stout, Dale Cardigan, Osenna Stout.
There once was a very influential man who encouraged and promoted people to go in front of others and take their comfort zones to a whole new level. He transformed shy, timid people to be able to go in front of a crowd and say with confidence, fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an English boy. I mean, who on earth would come up with something this crazy? Dear Madame Chairperson, family, friends, and all guests who are here for Farming Smarter, I would like to tell you something about a man called Dale Carnegie. He was quite simply a great icon and has sold books worldwide. Let's look into who Dale Carnegie was and what we can expect in some of his teachings. Maybe we will see that it is similar to the things we learned by doing public speaking in 4-H as well. When Dale Carnegie was only 19 years old, he joined the school debate team and found that he loved to public speak, but couldn't understand why others struggled so much. He decided to become a salesman later on in life and sold the most sales of the entire company. In the early 1900s, he decided that he simply wanted to teach, and his dream of public speaking became alive. And the key to this was, instead of boring notes and lectures, he made them talk about something that made them angry, and discovered that by using this technique, it made any speaker unafraid to address a public audience. He started making a lot of money teaching this course. It was a huge success, which just led to more success. His classes were wanted everywhere, and in order to reach more people, he started writing books. One of his main books was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. By the time Dale Carnegie had died, he had sold 5 million copies in 31 different languages. So, what actually makes Dale Carnegie's course so effective? Well, human relationships are a really big deal to him. He teaches that if you have good relationships with others and get them to understand your way of thinking, they will start to think the way you think. He also wanted to make nervous beginners into confident professionals. He says the best way to do it is practice, practice, practice. Have something to say and say it with power. Forget yourself. Cast out fear. But most importantly, you have to expect success. If you believe you will fail, there's no hope for you. You will fail. So let me explain where fee, fi, fo, fi comes from. So everyone in the Dale Carnegie course has to go to the front of a room of about 20 to 30 people and act out their line. So, for example, Sally. She goes to the front of the room and she says her line in a quiet, shy voice, fee, fi, fo, fum. But then everyone in the room is cheering her on, and sometimes it would take 3 or 4 times, but in the end, she was right up there and bringing it to life. Fee, fi, fo, fum. And the next time they had to do something in front of a public audience, it was much easier the second time. One of my favorite principles that he teaches is do not criticize, condemn, or complain. Think about if we all took these principles and applied them to our own life. Wouldn't that be such a nice world? Also, number 5 in his book of principles is smile. Think about if we all just smiled and were friendlier. 4-H in a small scale is definitely a scary part of 4-H. They have to all go up in front of a crowd and keep your nerves at bay while speaking. And while this might be hard, it's actually shaping us for our future lives. We don't all know where we will be someday, but there's a good chance that we might be salesmen, teachers, or other jobs that mean we will have to lead an audience or speak to a crowd. But these are the first steps to becoming comfortable in your own skin, and it will never be a waste of your time to abide by the teachings of Mr. Dale Carnegie.
This portion of the day is now concluded. Once again, a huge thank you to Farming Smarter for giving us the opportunity to speak. It has been a privilege for us as 4-H members to speak to you all today. Thank you.
Wow, I think that deserves another round of applause. That was just incredible. I was recalling sort of thing when I was your age in that chair, having to get up to do 4-H speaking, and I would tell you that I was not as confident as you guys are. So thank you so much for taking time to do that and sharing your insight.